I never thought this day would come, you guys. I'm so excited that I was able to publish and share with you guys the entire journey of getting my dual citizenship here in Germany. I am so happy, but I also had so many questions from you guys, not only on YouTube, but also over on our Instagram channel, via email, on our website, and I feel you. I do. So while the journey itself was not easy, there are a lot of things that I learned along the way that I want to share with you right now. And not only that, there are some significant changes that could be happening in 2025 that you really need to know about right now. So we're gonna go into some of the biggest challenges that you're going to experience, that I experienced, and that we are going to experience in 2025 regarding dual citizenship, but we're also gonna go through some amazing solutions for you guys. And of course, go a little bit into detail about the benefits of actually having our dual citizenship. What can we do once we're German? And while all of this is very exciting, there's also the political situation that many of you have probably already heard about, but there's some new updates that I wanted to share with you as well. So without further ado, let's get to it. So challenges that we are likely going to experience this year and moving on into 2025, in addition to the fact that nobody seems to be doing the same thing when it comes to actually applying. So the process that I took is likely going to be a lot different than the process that you take because you might be living in a different town or city. Unfortunately, even in the same town, you might experience that your application process was different than someone else's. My application process actually only took 3 months, and despite only being 3 months, it was quite a hefty process. So keep that in mind, but there are many other common challenges that we're all facing. Some people are waiting between 2 to 4 years on their processing time for their dual citizenship applications. And as I mentioned, due to recent political statements being made, we obviously as immigrants want to act on this quite quickly. The complexity of the bureaucratic system here obviously adds to the chaos. It is a lot of paperwork. My application itself was 12 pages long, but then of course you've also got all of those additional documents that you have to provide in addition to your application. Not to mention the things that are not in the list that they'll come back for later and let you know you still need this, 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 and this. I was still requested to provide 2 different documents that weren't ever on the initial list. This actually slowed down my application process by about 1.5 months. Third, the biggest issue that a lot of you might not be taking into consideration is that they have a huge backlog in the immigration offices right now, but not just in the immigration offices, also in the job centers, in the police stations, for example, because they're not only back checking and fact checking your information at the immigration offices, they actually have to go to the Agentur für Arbeit, to the job center, to the police to make sure that you're getting all of these background checks that they possibly can do before they call you a German citizen. Granted, I totally understand that and I really respect the thorough process that it takes them to get through. It's just taking a lot longer because of this. And in addition to that, they also have some serious staff shortages as well, which puts a huge delay on our applications. So what does this mean for us? Well, many of us have plans, you know? For me, for example, I would love to not only vote here in Germany, but also have flexibility to be able to travel as long as I want. I do plan on making Germany my forever home. However, I come from Canada, which means my whole family is there. And I've always dreamt of actually taking my kids there for a year or 2. I'm not sure when, but at some point I would love to. And with the permanent residency card in Germany, I've been told that it's not as flexible. You do have to let them know if you're leaving for a certain period of time. They can approve it, but as a German citizen, I'm not gonna have to go through this process. Thank goodness. Another thing I've been looking into, and I have to look a little bit further into that, being able to bring my mom here. I don't know who's gonna take care of her when she gets old. You know, I wanna be able to be there for her. I wanna be able to support her. And while she's still young and energetic, she helps me. That's what's impacting my life right now. And waiting on that for me is okay, but for many of you, your lives might depend on it. It's going to affect your life plans depending on how long you have to wait. It might even affect your travel and your employment here in Germany. I don't want to scare you. I want to bring you a solution. Unfortunately, with the immigration offices, there's really no way around it other than taking legal action. It doesn't matter how much research you want to do. Trust me, I've been doing it. You can follow all of my Instagram reels over on our Instagram channel. The questions and answers that I have provided for you for dual citizenship are endless, but none of that is going to help you make the process any quicker. Here's what will. Our sponsor for this video and a company that is going to become your best friend if you are in the process of getting your dual citizenship. This is Migrando. You might have actually recognized this logo because they offer one of the best online free tests that you can take to figure out if you're eligible for dual citizenship here in Germany. It takes 3 minutes. You submit all your answers and then you figure out whether or not you can qualify. That's the first step. They have it there. It's super easy. If you haven't checked it out yet, I will include that link down below for you. However, they also support you further. And this is where I get really excited. I jumped on the offer when they asked me if they wanted to work together. I haven't found a law firm really willing to make the process easier for us, where you're literally just like, here's my documents, like, leave me alone, you know? And it's all very transparent and easy to understand. But they don't actually just help you with the dual citizenship process. They can help from the moment you enter Germany. So getting your settlement permit all the way to the naturalization permit. Not to mention, I also do want to give a little bit of shout out to them for their social media accounts. You can find them on Instagram and TikTok, and somehow they make this immigration process look a little less daunting and a little more interesting. And trust me, you're gonna actually want to watch their content. So I'll leave those links down below. You can check those out too. But they are all fully licensed lawyers, which means they can help you with the application procedures, of course, but they can also help you with the objection procedures, proceedings for failure to act, and legal proceedings at the immigration offices. So if you haven't already, again, I will leave that link down below for the test where you can figure out if you qualify to be a dual citizen or not. And all of that information you can find down below. But before we get into some of the political changes that might be happening in 2025, I also want to go through some of the benefits, because before I scare you and you guys are like, okay, throw it in the towel. I do not want to be a German. This is too much work, Jenna. I get it. But there are a lot of benefits to getting dual citizenship. To be honest, I was never willing to give up my Canadian passport, my Canadian citizenship. I just felt like that was all I had left of me as a Canadian, and I wanted to keep it. So as soon as dual citizenship became an option, I jumped on the opportunity. I mean, June 27th, 2024 came, and I was just like, application submitted. But guys, once you are a citizen, you have full voting rights, and right now this is so important for us. The AfD does not necessarily appreciate immigrants. You're also gonna get EU freedom of movement, which means you can travel all over the EU without having to worry. It really also does help to be a German citizen in terms of job opportunities, as well as, of course, legal stability. And as I mentioned, for me, my priorities right now are really having that freedom of movement. If you are a permanent resident in Germany, you can actually lose that permanent residency if you leave the country for too long. Typically, if you leave Germany without notifying the authorities for more than 6 months, they can revoke your residency. So with this in mind, it also definitely gives me peace of mind knowing that I can take my kids and my husband for a couple of years to Canada so that they can experience my culture and get to know what Canada's all about. Or what my husband would love to do is actually just move somewhere warm for a couple years, because German weather can be a little bit draining sometimes, especially entering into these rainy fall and winter nights. Having 2 kids and a husband, who knows what my future will hold. As well as I mentioned, I would love to get my mom on over here. Many of you know I haven't convinced her just yet. I actually did the opposite of convincing her when she spent last winter with us, but she is about to arrive again December 5th this year. So I'm gonna work on her a little bit more. And I really do think that having dual citizenship and not just being on a permanent residency here in Germany will actually make the family reunification process a bit easier for me. Fingers crossed. Ich drück meine Daumen. So, current political situation in Germany, that might affect some of you applicants moving into 2025. With around 4 million potential applicants applying for naturalization here in Germany this year, citizen applications are surging. It is insane how many of us are applying at once. Think about this. Back in 2023, 200,095 people were naturalized in Germany. And while 4 million of us have the possibility to become naturalized, they are already estimating over 400,000 of us to be naturalized within 2024. That is insane. The AfD AfD, which is Germany's far-right alternative party, they are opposed to these recent dual citizenship reforms, which yes, have already been approved and did come into effect in June 2024 this year. However, that doesn't mean that things aren't about to change. Basically for us, these new exciting changes make dual nationality easier to access, and it also reduced the residency requirements for citizenship from 8 years down to 5 years. So I actually have talked to quite a number of lawyers as well as the immigration offices, and fact of the matter is these laws have already been put into effect. We are already getting our dual citizenship. I just got my dual citizenship, and it's going to be very challenging for them to actually stop the process at this point. It seems to be that at least for the next few months, we don't have too much to worry about. When do we start worrying? Well, it seems like no changes will be taking place, if at all, until September 2025, which is the set date for federal elections here in Germany. So now all we can really do is cross our fingers and hope that our dual citizenship applications get submitted quickly. What could happen in September 2025? Well, the AfD has basically called for a halt to immigration for at least 5 years. That's insane. I will add these links down below so you can go check them out. But on another report, it indicated that the AfD discussed a remigration plan that included mass deportation of millions of immigrants, particularly those of non-German origins. Unfortunately, if we're being honest, I don't think AfD actually has a concrete plan to actually fill the labor gap if they plan on kicking out so many of us immigrants. But I did watch the other day that they plan to encourage more German babies to be born and use robotics and AI to fill the jobs that were once taken by immigrants. What do you think? Is this even possible? Does the AfD want to kick out all immigrants? Just immigrants that aren't working, that aren't providing any benefit to the economy? I have a million questions, as I'm sure you do as well. I'm also positive that there are going to be many comments down below. I don't usually talk about political landscapes here in Germany too often because as an immigrant, I feel like I don't have much of a say, but I've been here 10 years. I'm gonna get old here, my goodness, guys, this is crazy. Anyway, again, Daumen drücken, fingers crossed, get those applications in if you have the opportunity. I can't believe I'm a dual citizen. I could cry just thinking about it. It's amazing. So, if you don't know if you're eligible yet, as I mentioned, go down in the description below. You'll find that link there for Migrando's 3-minute test. Then you can figure out if you can apply for it. If you can and you want to kind of fast track that journey, well, Migrando also offers that service there as well. So go check out their websites and their socials. And let's start our discussion down in the comment section below, shall we? Vielen, vielen lieben Dank und wie immer, bis später.